Morning, good morning. I'm gonna say good morning. I wanted to get on here and talk about a dream I had. Like, I literally got out of bed, started my car, got in my car so I could come talk about this because it shook me that deep. So my kids were staying the night at our neighbor's house right next door. And 3:30 in the morning, it's actually 3:33, I hear a pounding on the door and the doorbell ring. And one of my kids came back home, and so it startled me. It woke me up, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I just laid there and prayed, and I'd already decided to fast today, and the spirit has been heavy, and the atmosphere has been heavy, and God has been talking. And anyways, so I finally fall asleep, and it's probably like 5 o'clock. And just bear with me, as this is pretty intense to even go back through. So I was in like a cabin, and it was the house. I lived in this house, I guess, and my parents were there. One of my cousins was there, and her husband. My kids were there, and in this dream, at one point, I went to town for something which didn't seem to be very far away. And I was in town, and there was like the little playground areas, like a Walmart, where you put the 50 cents in and the kid rides the ride. There was a little girl, and she was riding the ride, but it was 5G technology. And I started shaking the lady who owned the game thing, and I said, "Get that out of here. It's gonna kill you. It's gonna kill her. Like, you don't know what you're playing with." And I went to my phone, and I tried to explain to her, show her, like, online about 5G, and to go to all the websites and the things, and to see that it causes radiation and cancer and all this stuff. And it was all wiped. It was all gone. So I sounded like a crazy person. So I left, and I went back home. And when I was at home, like, I could draw this for you if I could draw. But I was in the house, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting here trying to tell everybody about it, and they're not listening. A couple of them are literally asleep in bed. So I go outside for something because I hear something and nobody's paying attention. I go outside, and I look up, and as I looked up, there were these airplanes, and I've been seeing airplanes everywhere where I live. There were airplanes, and there were 2 airplanes, and like a big airplane that was doing like the chemtrails, geoengineering, whatever you want to call it, in the sky. And next to it came 2 fighter jets. And when you didn't see one, another one came, and it was the stealth bombers from Whitman Air Force Base, whatever that is, Whitman Air Force Base. And all of a sudden, I see this stealth bomber on fire. It's like been shot, and it's coming down, and it's in slow motion, coming down, slow motion. I run inside, and I start telling everybody in my house, "Get out, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. This plane is falling. It's going to crash. It's going to hit our house. We've got to go." I go into my husband, and I try to wake him up, and I'm like, "Wake up, wake up, wake up. Come on, we gotta go." He won't wake up. I'm shaking him. I'm slapping him. I'm slapping him in the face. He won't wake up, and I tell him World War III has begun. The plane is falling from the sky as we speak. Get up. And he was still sluggish, and he was still asleep. I said, "If you want to die here, that's your choice, but I'm leaving." And I grabbed the kids. My parents were there. My parents came out with me. And my cousins came out with me, and I got my kids. My little ones were asleep. I brought them, and it's like slow motion. So as the plane is coming down and it hits the back of my house, and this is like a rustic old cabin. I don't live in a rustic old cabin, but in my dream it was. And one of my friends was inside, and I had to go back and get her. And as soon as the plane hit, like it was sprayed with fuel, I knew we didn't have very much time because it was going to burn. So I run back in, and I'm trying to wake her up, and I'm telling her, come on, you got to go. We got to go. The house is going to blow up. We got to go. And then I couldn't get her up, and I went to grab 2 other things, like my purse. Why I would need that, I don't know. And my makeup. As you can see, I'm not wearing makeup right now, but I like makeup. I woke up from this dream, and I was just, we got out, and we were going to get away because I knew that the military and the police and everything, like it was going to be devastation. They were going to be there, and we had to go. We had to get out of there. I woke up, and God started talking to me, and he said, just like at 3:30, I stand at the door and I knock for my people, but they're asleep, and they don't see what's coming. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. There are so many that are asleep, and time is up. Time's up. He's here. And we are going to see him. People are going to see him take the stage, and do not be deceived. The very elect are going to be deceived. You look at what happened yesterday. The Pope made covenant with Islam for a one world religion. For 6 months, well, for 2 years, but for 6 months, I have seen nothing but 9/11 everywhere. Every clock, I've seen it on houses. I've seen it when I started this video. 9/11 this morning. I see 9/11 everywhere. So I went and I looked up 9/11 throughout the Bible. I got to Revelation. And this is what it says. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. I get this to turn around again. So, God's telling us he's here and time is up. And my heart is broken today, like I'm a wreck. Because so many people are going to die. And so many people are going to give in to him. And so many people are going to be deceived that God's heart is broken. If any time in your life you have needed or wanted to seek God's face, now is the time to seek his face, because time's up. Time is up. I don't know how else to say that any more than that. That's what's on my heart. I had to get on here, and at the risk of sounding like an utter crazy person, I had to get on here and tell you guys that time is up. So I went to Revelation 9/11, and then in my Bible it has, like, it's my grandma's Bible. It doesn't have any study notes. It doesn't have any of that, but it had little, let me just show you. Like, it has these little spots where it'll show you, sorry to get my fingers out of the way. like right here. Like go to Galatians 4:27. And one of them was to come to Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. But then my eyes came down right here to another one my grandma had. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found, and call ye upon him while he is near. That is truly God's heart right now, is seek me while I may be found. Because the enemy of your soul is after the saints of God. He has made war with them. I see people left and right that are struggling with sin and everything else. If you are watching this and you are a Christian and you are struggling with sin, get on your knees and call out to God. Fast and pray. Go without food and fast and pray until it breaks, because God is the great deliverer. He said anybody who calls upon my name will be saved. Anyone. So get on your knees and call upon his name and seek him while he may be found, because Ww3 is here. It is upon us. Time is up. And at the risk of sounding like a crazy lady, I am going to shout it from the rooftops to every person I see, and make sure that they know who he is, because I don't know about you, but I don't want the blood of somebody else in my hands, because I refuse to open my mouth.